future will be determined not in a house built by slaves, but in a city built by freemen. Demanding affordable housing is considered a radical and outlandish act. This city was built by the Irish escaping famine, Italians fleeing fascism, Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow.
I have a few clips lined up for us to jump into of AOC speaking at a Zohran Mamdani rally where I think she really hits the mark. So if you can, take a moment, leave us a like on the video. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers and that helps us out a ton in the algorithm, and let's get right to it.
Demanding what should be considered the most basic tenets of human dignity, that is considered a radical and outlandish act. It is a time such as today when demanding affordable housing is considered a radical and outlandish act, that we can afford our lives, our groceries, our transit, is considered an outlandish and radical act, that we accept our neighbor as ourselves, a radical and outlandish act. But we must remember, in a time such as this, we are not the crazy ones, New York City.
I think these things get even less radical when you put actual numbers to them, because the right would have you believe we have to raise taxes to like 80% to fund these things, and it's just not true. We could preserve all of the existing public housing units to a livable standard. That's almost 1 million units in 10 years, and then 500,000 new homes being built in the next 5 years for around 30 billion, no more than 40 billion. Between 30 to 40 billion in the next 10 years, we could have 1.5 million homes. We could cover that entirely by raising the corporate payroll tax by 2%, right? That would create twice as many homes as there are homeless people in 10 years for a 2% additional tax on corporations, $20,000 extra for every million a corporation makes. Is that radical? We could do universal childcare for all parents to allow all parents and households to work for roughly $150 billion a year. A 0.1% tax on Wall Street transactions would cover that 2 times over. Is that radical? I think society should be structured in a way where people can focus on innovation, not survival. But maybe I'm just the woke lib, but it is kind of crazy that we can do this for such infinitesimally small tax amounts, yet the right would have you believe that we're all going to be paying 70 or 80% of our income for these things. It's so radical.
Our future is not determined by a despot in a house built by enslaved people. Our future will be determined not in a house built by slaves, but in a city built by freemen, in a city built by unionists and immigrants and suffragists. The bricks laid by working people, past, present, and future, the seamstresses and the unionists who paid for our rights in blood. This city was built by the Irish escaping famine, Italians fleeing fascism, Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves, Asian Americans coming together in Queens, in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in Manhattan, in Staten Island.
How can you not love AOC, right? And we've talked about this in the last few Zohran videos. Diversity is a strength. Your identity is an asset, and the left is absolutely correct in rightfully identifying so. These things give you experiences, perspectives, ideas, and elsewise that can help you in life differently than others who do not, right? The right has long been able to contort this for a form of political control, where identity was made to be a bad thing. It's something that you should hide, right? Like you'd always see on the left even, people kind of sheltering their identity in place of merit or whatever, experience, whatever it might be. But then you see identity get weaponized by the right to do bigotry, which kind of gives away the real game. They disparage women as leaders, Black people as unqualified, Muslims as terrorists, Chinese as communists, Mexicans as illegal. They do it now even politically, liberals as woke, right? And more, which is the real identity politics. And you can see in their vitriolic reaction to the left claiming back identity to what it really is, a massive benefit for this country, that their plan was to be the one who had a monopoly on identity politics, and in saying, the left does identity politics. They're just upset that they're losing the racist card, essentially.
Our city have chosen to adorn ourselves with the nation's greatest monument to freedom, the Statue of Liberty. And she reminds us every day that the central commitment of America is an unconditional freedom, precisely of the kind that cannot be bought, that is available to the huddled masses yearning to be free. This is America, New York City. Don't let them tell you any different. Don't let them tell you that we are the exception. We are the rule. We are the standard. We are the acceptance, and we set the bar for America. I'm talking to you, Donald Trump. There has been a day before his presidency, and there will be a day after. And it belongs to us.
I think what we're saying is the MAGA crowd getting comfortable in politics for the first time. Before Trump, they never even had an avenue. And then with Trump, obviously, it takes them a little bit of time to get here. Where we're seeing now that they're comfortable, they're willing to admit they don't actually value or even enjoy our democratic norms, democracy itself, co-equal branches, due process, freedom of speech. None of them mean anything to these people if they're the ones in power. The only thing that means something to them is what enables them to get more power. It's only useful, these democratic norms, when they're without power and they can use it as a cudgel to try and garner sympathy as a victim. I fear Donald Trump has forever plagued our political sphere in this way, where the right will forever value personality over policy, be cry bullies, like want to be victims when they're out of power, and then just, like do authoritarianism over democracy when they are in power, rather than ever operate within the bounds of our government again. And to me, that makes them a danger. One that we should vote entirely out of control and then never let get back into it.